So you're looking to scale your marketing agency and 10x your revenue. Well, we sat down with agency owners and asked them how to do it. And in this video, we'll cover the 4 primary steps you need to take to 10x your agency's revenue, as well as some bonus advice. The first step is to make sure that your offer is dialed in. The primary thing you need to do is pick one and focus all your attention on that one offer. And the more simple it is to provide, the faster you will scale. Jens Rhodes from Floodlight SEO explains in more detail.
The first thing that I would focus on is your product, right? Like, what do you sell? And I would make that as formulaic and results driven as possible. That produces the results that it needs to produce for your clients. Like, it's a widget that just kicks out money for your clients. What you want to do is you want to eliminate variables. You want to eliminate friction points. You want to eliminate decisions. Focus on that. Get that good, because that's the first friction point is your product, right? If your product kills your productivity, if there's a lot of variables, if there's a lot of thought that has to go into it, a lot of people that need to be able to make it work, then you're going to have a slower liftoff. Simple one product kind of agencies do much better.
But if you want to scale even faster, then narrow your focus down to just one industry as well. Stephen Christopher explains why.
You become a true expert, right? I mean, we understand how their business is run. So now all of our staff, everything that they're doing for each client, they can look at it through the lens of having a deeper understanding of their business, so they can find more opportunities to help them grow. Whereas like if we had a breadth of, call it 20 industries we serve, it's kind of that mile wide, but only an inch deep. And so there's this huge additional opportunity that we can be so much better for our clients when we are an expert.
The other benefit to becoming the go-to expert in the industry is it allows you to charge more for your services, which helps you 10x your revenue that much faster. The next step is to build your agency so that other people can step in and do the work fast. This means creating processes that are easy to follow so that you don't need to tell your team what to do in any given situation.
Get your processes lined up, and not just product processes, but your processes of onboarding. This is how you onboard. These are the touches that we make. This is the reporting. This is when we're going to contact them, those kind of things. So just map it out. Then don't overcomplicate it, but make sure you've put the thought in and you've got it, right? Because that's going to be essential for when it's not you doing it. The whole point, if you're going to scale and you're going to do it fast, you got to build it so that other people can do it right away.
We just continue to put in processes and structure and document things so that the business could run off of systems and not just run off of me or one other person. Say, okay, you do that in this situation, you do that in this situation.
The next step is scaling your team. And if you followed step 2, then this is where you will see it pay off.
You don't have to hire as many high-level experts. If it's not process-driven, it has to be knowledge and expertise-driven. And then you have high costs on personnel. When it's process-driven, you have to hire somebody who can follow a process, and they'll become experts over time.
Jens brings up an important point that often isn't discussed as much as revenue: costs. Because while revenue is great, it can be misleading because it doesn't tell the full story. If you 10x your revenue, but you also 10x your expenses, what was the point? Headcount is often the bulk of an agency's costs, so you should find ways to ensure that you have the right amount of staff and aren't overhiring. Apart from having processes, another way to boost efficiency is to make sure that your employees' time isn't filled with busy work that can be automated. Melissa from Premier Legal Marketing explains how much automating client reporting helped her agency.
So it's probably saving us about 20 hours a month having this automated. And we've seen significant client retention or even growth because we can really show the ROI to our clients.
Just one software was able to do that for their agency. So have a look at your team to see if there are aspects of their jobs that should be automated. Now that you have your offer, processes, and team in place and running smoothly, it's time to double down on sales. And there's a reason you should follow these steps in this order. Jens Rhodes explains why.
Your development team is at capacity and your sales team is going too fast, right? And all of a sudden you've got a backlog of people who just are not being taken care of. Sales teams, they get paid on sales. So if you say to your sales team, stop selling, we've got to fix our stuff, you don't have a sales team anymore.
Most sales teams are compensated on commission, so they'll push hard to close more deals. So you need to make sure that your agency can handle the additional work before you begin scaling your sales. But what are some tactics you can use for sales? Well, this is where step 1 pays off, because a high quality offer that gets results is much easier to sell, because you can simplify it and strip it down to one thing: the results. That's the only thing you need to sell them on. The method you use is less important.
There's a lot of companies that are in the internet marketing space that don't sell results, try and frame it as a thing that just needs to be done. The thing is not what matters. The SEO is not what matters. The social media is not what matters. What matters is the return. All of this needs to make money. The only way it works is if we tie it to the result.
We're nearing the end of the video, but before you go, Jens Rhodes and Stephen Christopher had some parting advice for agency owners before they scale.
I think it's very common that people start building a business and they start working on scale and they start going down this path that ultimately isn't the right path for them. And then they burn out and they feel bad and they feel like failures. And the failure wasn't in the process. The failure wasn't in scaling. The failure was in not knowing what you wanted in the first place. I know a lot of people that are just happy doing good work, having enough clients that they take care of. They don't have to worry about paying their bills, but they don't need to have a big business. They don't need to have their name on a high rise, and they live a good life and they live a happy life, meaningful, fulfilled. That's enough for some people. And I know other people that want more. They want wealth. They want status and prestige. They want to help more people than you can with a small agency. And that's fine. All of that's fine. Just know what you want so that you can build the life that you want instead of just doing what you think needs to be done, because scaling isn't always the answer. Build the life you want.
And if scaling your agency is ultimately what you want, it's important to enjoy the process.
We all seem to wait for some future goal to happen until we're happy, right? Okay, hey, when I hit my first million, when I hit 5 million, when I hit 10 employees, when I hit 2 employees, then I'll be happy. So we withhold our ability to feel gratitude and happiness for what we've accomplished for some future thing that may or may not ever happen. And then what does happen is we hit that goal, right? You hit your first million. You don't even celebrate it. And so you just keep moving the goalpost down the road. And before you know it, you're 70 and you're still miserable, but yet you've accomplished all of these things. I'm a big believer that you get more of whatever you're putting out. So if you're at least giving yourself a little bit of capacity to feel grateful and happy and appreciative of what you have created, guess what? You get a lot more reasons to be those things.
That's some great advice to close the video with, but before we do that, what do you think is most important when scaling? Be sure to comment it below and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. We're looking forward to see how you 10x your agency's revenue. And click on this video right here for more marketing agency tips. Thanks for watching.